open up the field for Larry Fitzgerald and Anquan Bolden. You guys know those players? Okay? All right. So I got hurt, and it was probably one of the toughest times for me because my whole life, since I was a kid, 7 years old, you know, I was raised to be an athlete. All I knew was football, right? Football was just my life. You know, my dad raised me to be a first-round draft pick. It didn't happen, but I still made it to the National Football League. I was an underdog, undrafted free agent. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to fight, and I'm going to prove myself. You know, prove to people that, you know, I can play in the National Football League. You know, and so during that injury, it was tough for me, and it was really hard to deal with. But thank God that I was in the church. Thank God that I was at Faith Christian Center, and also thank God for an FCA rep who gave me an athlete's Bible. Because without that Bible and without that church, I don't know where I would be at, right? Because when people are going through tough times and tribulations, they need something to lean on, right? And so you have to have a foundation. What's your foundation? My foundation is Jesus. So my peace is in God, and my identity is not in football. See, when my life was just football, when football was taken away from me, I had nothing left. I mean, what was I gonna do, right? But when my identity is in Christ, now it's different. Now I'm doing things for God, right? And it was the toughest thing for me to get through that transition, because after a while, it took me about 4 or 5 years of being hard-headed and chasing football, because NFL scouts would come up to me and say, how come you not playing 4 or 5 years in National Football League? You run a 4.2, you got great film, you guys can YouTube me later and see my film. I can play. If an NFL scout called me tomorrow to run, I could run a 4.3 high. I would have to train to get down to a 4.2 again, but I can run a 4.3 high, right? I also went to the Olympic trials in 2008. So when it came to speed, that was my thing. When it comes to running fast, that's just what God blessed me with. So I'm like, Lord, you gave me this speed, this talent. What am I to do with it? Like, what, I mean, so now what it is, God has called me to minister to young kids like you, right? And to understand that your purpose, right, is higher than just football. You're more than just a football player. If football doesn't work out, what gifts and talent has God given you, right? So that way you can go out into the world, maybe start your own business, right? Or help other people, or help volunteer. But your identity is not in football. It's not. It's not. You're more than that. You're more than a football player. You're smart. You're intelligent, right? And so make sure you get into the Bible, that words, right? So that way you can have that foundation and that security. See, my hope and my peace is in Jesus. Because I know when I die, I'm good. I know I'm going to get to the gates of heaven. I know that because what Jesus died on the cross for my sins. And I'm not perfect. I made mistakes. When I was in Florida State, in high school, being a knucklehead, you know what I'm saying, doing things that I wasn't supposed to be doing, right? Because you get different temptations. Your friends, hey man, I got this, come over here, you know what I'm saying, right? But you don't want to follow those temptations. You want to be around leaders, right? You want to be around a leader who is guiding you in the right direction, right? So give me some examples.